Well, hello there everyone. This is Barry's Best Honey. I'm Mike and I do bees. Welcome back to Southeast Louisiana. Well, hey guys, it is August 6, 2021. It's a Friday morning. But hey, we're going to inspect some bees today. I don't do a ton of inspecting, like deep inspecting in the summer. Post-harvest assessments are going to begin with those that look weak. I only normally do about maybe 5 to 10 each morning when I inspect in the summer. And all I ever look for in the summer is queen right. By the way, speaking of that, if you like this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up if you don't mind. Sure would appreciate it. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already either. But anyway, I want to look for queen right. I want to look for stores. I want to look for overall health. All right, that's really it. And I can do that in the top box a lot of times if I can see down in the bottom from the top. I know you don't, can't see what's down on those frames. And there's always a chance that bottom box is empty and they're already in the top. But we'll figure that out when we kind of weigh them and feel them and see what's in the top. But it's really quick. I like to be in and out. First, for my safety in the heat. And second, for robbing purposes. Don't want robbing to begin. Don't want to start breaking loose a bunch of frames. There's not a lot to do in the bees except for the three things I mentioned: queen right, health, overall health, and stores. So that's what we're going to do today. Is I need to go out there and do that. And it looks like some of those are double deeps that look really, really weak. But I want to take off a deep if they don't have enough bees to cover it. These colonies we're going to look through today, we may condense them. So we're going to take a look at that. That's what we're doing today, guys. It's back to inspecting post-harvest. I don't do a lot of this in the summer. No reason to be in them in the summer a bunch, but you do need to go in and check every so often just to be sure you're not going afoul. I can go for about 3 weeks to 4 weeks looking at the landing boards and see what's going on because I know what's happening before with them. I can tell if they're looking pretty normal. Not that you can't be fooled by that, don't get me wrong, but I can do that. I'm pretty confident in that in my bees, in my stands, and where I'm living in the time of year. But that's never about 4 to 5 weeks in, and probably need to be taking a quick gander, and that's not. And I'll just do that here and there. So yeah, so that's what we're going to do. Post-harvest assessments. Come on along with me. Let's go get suited up. I suit up. And look, remember, I said it just once already. I'm not doing a how-to video. I'm doing a how I do video, and this is what I do in August in the dog days of summer. Let's get rolling. I'm actually kind of looking forward a little bit to getting in the bees. Hadn't really inspected since that one check on that swarm. Just haven't been in them that much. With honey, you just yank it all off and you hope for the best as far as what's going on below. I mean, you can tell looking, but no in-depth inspections in quite a while. Of course, these won't be in-depth, like I said, but we're going to jump on it. And I'm looking forward to it. It's not blazing hot, man. It's in the 70s. Wow. Even the bees aren't all over the landing boards. They're probably happy too. Let's look in this one. This is the one I'm more concerned with because I don't see a lot of bees. When you don't have a lot of bees, prime time for beetles. They got these under control, looks like. I'm gonna pull right off the middle real quick. That's an old comb. They got stores. There's bee bread and some old cells, look like. It's probably this was probably one of the ones that was weak. This is one of the ones we pulled supers off of because it was an overcrowding swarm. We got a super of honey off of it. Question is, did they requeen? They are smaller, but they're feeding the larvae in that one. Look at that. I see the larvae in royal jelly. They're feeding her. Well, not anymore, they're not. There's plenty of bees in here. And if they're feeding the larvae, so they've requeened since that overcrowding swarm, but why in the world would they? That's not, that thing was halfway drawn down. And I did something I normally never do in the summer, and that is kill a cell. If it's a super procedure, and I don't know that it was, but not the time, because this is where things can get really deadly if they don't requeen quick, fast. Hopefully I didn't. Yeah, there's more cells down there, so I'm not going to mess with these. And there's larvae in here and eggs. Alright, this is one I should be concerned about. But what I'll tell you is I see another cell down there. I'm going to pull this last frame up here. I don't want to damage any cells. I see another cell down there. I'm curious as to why. I'm not going to flip the box up. What I'm going to do with this colony is be very careful with them, because what's on this one? Yeah, see, there's larvae in that too, so they could be superseding the way those cells are in there. There's one that's on burr comb, there's one in the middle of the frame here, there was one on the edge of the frame there. So what I'm thinking is we might have a superseder going on. Not the best thing this time of year. I didn't see any eggs, so I don't want to go to fooling in here too much, because what I don't want to do is make them hopelessly queenless. I think they've got a queen based on how they're acting. I'm not going to dig in the bottom. There was a cell hooked to some burr comb, and what I don't want to do, I can see it from the top, I don't want to rip that in half. So now I know they have at least 2 cells in there. Not the time of year to be killing any cells. So I'm going to make sure I know this one has to be checked again soon. Let's look at this one real quick. This was one I was concerned about leaving a super on it. I hear a lot of these, because I was like, they don't look too strong. And I left the super on because it needed some drying down. No beetles on the lid, that's nice. But they're gonna lose this super soon. It's got a good amount of honey in it. This is a newer trap. It's already all nasty, but I'll leave it in. Little wax moth under there. It's a weaker hive. I don't think they're going to need to be condensed right now at this point. There's plenty of honey up here. I'm looking in the bottom. I see bees. Not a lot, but like not packed. Some old brood that's being backfilled with nectar. You know how that gets all spotty and nasty looking. Quick peek here. So don't think we'll. I'm looking to see if there's any kind of wax moth damage or anything else. When they're this weak, this is when you can have a problem with wax moths trying to cohabitate. I see eggs in here. Yep, there's the eggs in there. Queen's in the top laying. Let's look at this one middle frame here really quick like. Slam on that. Yep, she's putting a lot of brood in. But not going to do any mite washes right now, folks. I'm telling you, I'm going to be treating everything. I might do mite washes afterward like I did last year. Which didn't give you a good indication of what you had, but at least you know where you're at. Let's get this back together. They're okay. They got more space than they need. I need to get that super off of there. Alright, so it looked weak from the front. It was. Need to get the super off of here. Get the space reduced. Yeah, we got to reduce the space on that. I'm not gonna do it today. I'm gonna mark it and take it off by this week. Because we want to get them down, get them out of that super. I didn't grab that super because it wasn't done yet, and I wasn't gonna feed it back to the bees at the time. So I just left it on there. This one I left on for space, because it's a good, strong colony. That one's not looking terrible, and she's putting a lot of brood in, so that means she's trying to come back. Don't know how many, what their mite infestation looks like, but this time of year it's peaking. So there's a lot of spotty brood in there. So we got to get them treated pretty soon. But she's trying to reproduce, she's trying to get bigger, and that's what we want. But nothing looks detrimental on them right now, so that's good. So I got a couple over here I really want to take a peek at, and I know 17 needs to be looked at. Everybody else has got plenty of bees up on the front boards doing what bees do. They're weak. This one right here, let's look at it now. Let's see what they look like. They were, folks, they were a definite swarm. But I pulled the honey. This is another one that we if you remember back in May, I should link it up, the overcrowding swarm. So the initial honey harvest we did, that was these overcrowding swarms. We had overcrowding swarms, and I had hives that looked bad from the front. I knew they were weak, and I wanted to get the honey off of them ASAP, and that's one of them. And that's basically what we're looking at today. Number 3, which turned out to be fine. Number 4 was iffy. I wasn't planning on looking at today, but I did. 17 was one, 20 was one, and 23 was one. There was like 4 of them that I really wanted to get all the stuff off of, and then we pulled others as we were in the yard. But this is one I want to look at. It's definitely an overcrowding swarm. Bees are coming and going, but it's very weak, so it may need to be reduced. All right, let's take a look at this one. Again, this was one of the ones that we pulled honey off early because we knew we had an overcrowding swarm in it. And there hadn't been a lot of activity on it that I can tell. Still got plenty of honey, so. Oh yeah, there are just a lot of bees in there. It seems like they don't want me there. And that is the case sometimes. Why would they want my big old hands in there with these gargantuous thumbs they put on these things? Look, they're longer than the finger. Longer than the longest finger. Would you want that in your colony? Man. If you were a bee, would you want a thumb like that digging through? I don't think so. Alright. Well, everything looks normal. I see eggs. Oh, I got smoke in my lungs. Let me get this out of the way. I'm running the bees off while I'm trying to watch them. Try my new flashlight. Oh yeah, I'm seeing eggs. They're good. Population looks alright in the bottom, more than I saw in that last one. It's full of, you see how it's all full of larvae. I'm seeing plenty of larvae, and they're beginning to cap it all off. It's getting to that age, so that's good. This one's full of eggs and small young larvae. So I mean, she's doing good. I'm looking on that frame just in case I see her, and I'm gonna call it good. That's my summer inspection. The other ones I went through more than I would have. This one, we're done. I don't want to hurt the queen in this case, so we're good to go. So while they looked weak on the outside, and they're not super strong. They're strong enough to guard what they got, and that's the key. Can they guard what you've got on there? That's always going to be my question with my colony. They're stronger than I thought. I'm happy. I'm happy with that colony. Very happy. One I'm pleased with, one I'm curious about, and one that needs honey off of it. Let's keep looking. Let's look at number 20. Again, I'm skipping around because I'm looking at ones I know look a little weak. This was going to be a comb honey box and all that good stuff. Ooh, that's an entrance. And man, it was one of those overcrowding swarms. Had like 4 of them, I think it was. 3 or 4. 3, I think. Anyway, nonetheless, we made a box, and that's all it made. And that's good. Can't complain about a box of honey. Guess you could, but I'm not going to. As you can see, all my bees have plenty of honey, and if it's an overcrowding swarm, of course it does, because why? It filled up. But that's fine with me. They're alive, and they've got plenty for the winter, because they won't eat all this in the dirt. Oh yeah, larvae. Plenty of larvae in there. Eggs, and more eggs. So they're building back. Let's look at this last one. And I can look in the middle of the nest on the bottom this way too, by pulling this out. Because again, I'm not going to bust boxes wide open. Look at this. So we're going to have bees. And yeah, there's a lot down there. Not the most packed nest I've seen, but and see, now this is funny because in the middle of the nest it's backfilled with nectar, and that's fine. Again, that's fine at this point in time in the year. That's kind of what you want at this point in time of the year. You want the top full of honey and nectar as the brood emerges, and the bottom to be the brood nest going into winter. Yeah, see? We got eggs, brood nest. Numbers are okay. When I say numbers okay, I'm looking to make sure we're not overwhelming them with space. That one makes me happy. So the main ones I'm looking at. One more that I want to look at. Oh yeah, I hear them up here. This was a virgin queen on May 1st. That's why they weren't a honey producer for me. I'm not sure, but we may have to open the bottom. That's propolized shut. I get rid of that. Well, they had a beetle gel built under it. You look at how they had this built. Here's a prime example of what I just did wrong. They had a beetle gel built. This, if you look under there, alright, this is all propolized, so I'm not worried about turning it over. They had the end sealed. They didn't have this sealed. There was a door, okay, on both sides. They had this end sealed up through and through, and then here was, you look at this propolis I just yanked off. This went down the sides, okay, you can see it right down the side there on that frame. I just broke, and there's the other parts of the wall right there. So the wall, they had this whole thing sealed in. And you can see the wall they had built, and they have it on this other side too. That was a beetle gel in here, so it would keep the beetles in here. Not seeing any beetles, but that's one of the downfalls when you bust your hives open. If you're in beetle country, you see all these beetles scatter and you're freaking out, but really they had them corralled, but we just opened them up, and strong colonies will corral them. Strong colonies. And this one's not that strong, so thank goodness we're not seeing a lot of beetles. But it's time for a new fresh ground drench. So I'm gonna pull one out the middle. I don't usually do that, but this thing is propolized like there ain't no tomorrow. Oh crap. I did what I don't want to do right there. I broke a lot of honey loose. Over what? So, matter of fact, we're going to put that back. Tell you what we're going to do. Let's scrape this off. Let's put this down. Let's do this instead, because this looks like it's all honey in the top. Oh my gosh. That is all honey. See, there's not a lot of bees in here. Carefully pull the middle frame. See, this bottom box is empty. That's what I was concerned with. Look. Nectar and pollen. Oh, there's brood. This has got a different type of bottom board, so they build this on the bottom. It's got space down there. Let's hurry up. I see some brood. I want to see what's in this bottom. This is not a good looking hive at all. But I got a definite laying queen in there because there's all kind of new larvae. Oh yeah. So what I want to do with her, I don't like the population I'm seeing, but she's laying. I'm going to put them back together. And I'm going to mark a brick sideways on this one saying that, hey, this is not the best looking colony. I'll make a note on this one saying it's spread up through 2 boxes, but it's small. Gosh almighty, that's all honey, I bet. Oh my goodness. Oh my gosh. That I'm queen right. I'm looking okay, but the population is not good on this. Did not see beetles, although I'm going to give them their beetle trap back. Not super pleased with that one. I'm going to mark a brick sideways. That's kind of my little sign to say, hey, come back and look at this. That's it over here for what I'm concerned with. Alright, so those of you that don't know, why do I call it the tax swarm? Julie asked me to name it the tax swarm, or something like that. I ended up naming it the tax swarm. Told her I'd follow up on it, and I've only been back in it once or twice. But it was hived at the end of March, beginning of April, with 5 frames. They wouldn't go in and do anything with the frames, so I gave them a brood frame and it turned things around. They turned right around, and they began to clean up an old molded frame. They cleaned everything up, and she went gangbusters. Had to stick her in a 10 frame really quick. Had to get her in a double deep. So starting on April 1st through the honey flow, which went through about the 1st or 2nd week of June, these bees, I caught them on the 1st of April, they made 2 supers of honey. That's pretty good. But let's look at them and see how they've done. Obviously they've done good. Wow, that's full of honey. Some pretty frames. I won't take the honey out of the deeps. I did harvest 1 deep this year, but that was put on as a super over an excluder. I don't take honey out of the deeps because I've got 2 months to 3 months of dearth, depending on when the wild mustard blooms, and then I've got winter. And this is back filled with nectar. I obviously bring in some nectar in somewhere. That's all honey frame. So 3 solid honey frames going into the brood nest on top. Look out. She's one to watch. Got a lot of nectar being backfilled. Again in the top, that's not an issue. As the brood's coming out, they're putting it back in. And I mean, she's going right back in and backfilling with eggs. Eggs, full of eggs. Let's see, can y'all see that? She's doing good. She's here. There's some cat brood on the next frame. Of course, this is all backfilled with nectar, so that's more than just them robbing them honey boxes out. And then where there's no nectar, there's eggs. There's bees all in the bottom. Yeah, this whole thing is being backfilled. And it could be too, maybe they're breaking out some honey from below, bringing it up, I don't know. I'm not sure about all that. What I know is it's a lot of bees down there. And then that should be all I go, because guess what? This is all backfilled with nectar. Where is this all coming from? Wow. And then the rest of the frames are all honey. So we got a solid box of honey on top. Let's look in the bottom anyway. If I can lift this thing, my goodness. Get some smoke under there. Oh man, that thing is heavy, heavy, heavy. That's kind of why I didn't want to do it. Look at the honey I broke loose. I ran all them bees down too, so it's not like I'm gonna find the queen. That smoke. But I know she's here, so I just want to see how much brood they got down here. I want to see what the queen is doing. They're filling the bottom with nectar. Look. These are definitely hoarders. I remember my quiet box I built. Let me put that in there. I need my covers is what I need. I don't have them out here. I wasn't planning on going this deep to cover up any smells. All right, I see brood. Yeah, see now. So that's what I want to know. How much brood do I got in the bottom? We could have mite issues going on because she was solid before. More nectar, pollen. That's my edge of my nest. But plenty of bees down here. I'm going to put this last frame up, pull it up real quick, and then we're going to call it a day. But you get the idea. This is a swarm that was hived on April 1st. Really, it was actually after that because I had to go in with the brood to get them going. They have not swarmed. And again, they produced two mediums of honey. She's laying in here too. Yeah, this whole thing is laid up. There you go, folks. That's an update on the tax swarm. I'm pleased with it. So it's good to go for me. So what am I doing? I'm looking at the fronts. This is one we looked at because it's just kind of low on bees. We looked at this one too. I don't know why they're doing what they're doing. They're fighting somebody off. There's no robbing going on yet, but they're just excited for me being in them, but they're normally not that many bees on the front. This one looks good. Of course, it's got a super. It's one of those 5 that I got to pull off. I'll pull that off when we begin to treat. And then I look at these. Okay, number 13, I already know about this one. I know what's going on with it. But like 11, it's actually growing. That's more bees than have been there. And those are calm worker bees guard bees, whatever you want to call it. It's normal. So I can look at and know what I saw last time. Same here. You know, I know what we're seeing. I know what we got. But we went through that one. That's the one we went through. That's the tax one. We seen it was fine. But I'm gonna go through them all and do a systematic inspection. I just wanted to go through these that I knew were suspect. Well, there you are, folks. That's what I wanted to do today. I do have one other I think I might look at. Anyway, I think we're good. I accomplished what I wanted to do today. You know, I looked at the fronts and those weak ones looked weak. So sure enough, we did find a weak one. But nothing was alarming about populations in beetles. That was a good thing. One had some cells. I don't know about that. So I got 2 that I want to keep an eye on. And then the other 2 that I was concerned with were strong. Now all of them had enough bees, like I said, and all of them had laying queens. And all of them looked pretty healthy, as much as you can see health. Didn't do mite washes. You know, maybe that's a bad beekeeper in me, but I'm going to treat them all. I'd rather just see where I'm standing later on doing a random count throughout the colonies. One thing I noticed was new fresh nectar. That was surprising to me. But where are they getting that from? Because it's a significant amount. Are they robbing other colonies? What's happening? And what I was seeing was a backfill of it in the tops. I didn't go in the bottoms of most of them. And I'm seeing them backfill the brood nest. And anywhere there's a hole, there's either honey or an egg. So the queen is backfilling just as fast as she can too. We went through the tax swarm. All right, so you got to see a colony that was hived on 5 frames of bees, and in 2.5 months made 2 boxes of honey. That's an amazing thing. Swarms are amazing. All right, guys, well, that's it for today. I appreciate you guys coming along. Hey, don't forget, if you did like the video, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up if you don't mind, of course. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't. Don't forget to share this video with friends, family, anybody that just enjoys watching bees. Hey, it's Barry's Best Honey. I'm Mike, and I do bees. Y'all have a wonderful afternoon. May God bless you. See y'all later.